Hello, hello everyone. Welcome back to my stream. It is I, your humble host Sketchy, and I'm tentatively back with Reverse 1999 today. Well, for those who joined our Discord server, they know that today's stream almost didn't happen because of real life hitting me with a goddamn hammer. I won't be explaining all the details, but in short, one of my two cats died in the middle of the night today, so I was a little bit distraught for most of the night, almost didn't sleep, and I was of half mind to cancel everything today, but honestly, I've decided to stream anyway just to make myself feel a little bit better. Just to make myself busy, so to speak. And not think about how awful I feel. So, there's that. Maybe focusing on the story in reverse will somehow take my mind off real life. That's the hope, at the very least. Don't know for how long I will be streaming today, and if I won't be taking any breaks in between, because I've got some things to take care of regarding arrangements of taking care of my cat's funeral, effectively. So probably after the Reverse 1999 I'll have a longer break, because I'll have to take care of some things. Currently I cannot do them earlier because of how the arrangements work. I have to wait anyway, so might as well stream. Get my head in a different headspace. So, if I feel somewhat low energy today, or sound rather, you'll have to excuse me for that. I'll do my best to be at least somewhat entertaining. We'll see how it works out. Okay. Let's jump back into the story, I guess. We've left somewhere on part 12 or so, I think, of chapter 9. Ideally, we'll finish the main chapter today and maybe start one of the side stories. That's the plan. Don't know how much left is there, but usually it was like 14, 15 chapters or so. So, behind the operating curtain. From what I recall, Vertin was about to meet with that physician that looks like Aleph, and presumably is Aleph. See how it plays out. An otherwise tidy room is covered in fine scratches and small unidentifiable stains. The smell of disinfectant lingers in the air, mixed with mildew. What is a mildew? Google time. Oh. Basically mold. That's not a good thing to find in a doctor's office. A physician's office.
Wait here a moment. I'll report the situation and your request to Dr. Merlin.
God damn it. Now everything reminds me of him. Of my cat. The one that I had to say goodbye to this night was the big orange one that was visible in the background of some of my streams. So that kitty lady is kind of reminding me of him now. God fucking damn it.
However, since he's always busy, I can't guarantee he'll agree to meet you. But I'll do my best to persuade him.
The Jaguar's figure slinks out through the inner door.
Now's our chance, Sonetto. Our chance? What do you mean, Timekeeper? It's unlikely that the jailer will let us search the central tower, even in this situation. We should take the initiative and look for clues while she's away.
What you wanted to say, Vertin, is snoop around illegally. I'm guessing that Sonetto is not going to be riveted by that prospect.
I see, Timekeeper. I will do my best.
Ah, okay. Sonetto is becoming more flexible with less than above-the-board methods, looks like. We have bad influence. Sonetto swiftly conducts a thoroughly unauthorized search. Right.
Thank you for your assistance, Miss Recoleta. Without your precise predictions, we wouldn't be standing here now. I haven't yet grasped the connection between the die, your novel, and what's happening in this place. But, by process of elimination, it's almost certain that your pen pal, Aleph, is right behind this door.
Yeah, that's the assumption.
Sometimes I envy your decisiveness, Vertin. I'm sure many people have praised this special talent of yours.
Honestly, that's a mixed bag, kind of. The higher-ups are kind of convinced that they need us, but they are not exactly big on praise, I would say.
Are you alright? You don't seem as excited as when we first entered Kamala.
Recoleta holds her gaze on the tightly shut door, uncertain whether she hopes it will open now or never again.
The all-seeing sentinel of the Panopticon, veiled within the central tower. If it truly is Aleph, I don't know how to face such a terrifying and increasingly plausible reality.
Well, I understand the fear of unknown, but at this point, Recoleta would have no context as to why would Aleph do anything that he did. Maybe he has his reasons? I guess we'll see.
Sorry to interrupt, but... Timekeeper, I think you'll want to see these.
Documents?
Signed Erd. This is a letter from Dr. Dorez.
Okay. The delicate signature matches the one in the manuscript folder.
Her handwriting. It's as beautiful as I'd imagined. Who is it addressed to? Dear Mr. Aleph. Aleph? Looks like Dorez and Aleph are acquaintances. Or at least, they've had some correspondence.
Looks like it.
Dear Mr. Aleph, my apologies if this reaches you at an inconvenient time. I am Dorez, pen name Erd, an ordinary inmate of the Panopticon of Kamala.
Huh?
I write seeking your guidance, if you wouldn't mind offering it to me.
Was she being an inmate here, or did she sneak in? That's not exactly clear from those bits in the past, at least to me.
I heard from the physician, Dr. Merlin, that...
You have the answer to every question. A statement which has been echoed by the idealist and the other inmates. I have something I wish to ask you. What exactly is your role at the prison? Chief Warden? A secret backer? An observer who dominates the prison? Are you truly the supreme ruler of the Panopticon of Kamala?
So, even to Dorez, it was explained that the the physician named Merlin and Aleph are not the same person, despite we are being shown signs that it's the other way around. They tear open the next letter, eager to read on.
Dear Erd, I do indeed have answers for every question, including yours. I'm afraid every one of your speculations is off the mark. I am merely an inmate who chose to imprison himself here.
Huh. So, if nothing else, he claims that he is here by choice, right? Also, he's very modest, saying that he has an answer for every question, in quotes.
And allow me to point out that your identity isn't as ordinary as you claim. Why is it that you, my fellow inmate and guest of Manus Vindictae, are so interested in Komala?
I'm not entirely sure if the word guest is exactly accurate in this case.
Dr. Doris? A guest of Manus Vindictae?
Yeah, as far as we know, they abducted her, didn't they? A muffled shattering of glass interrupts the reading.
It came from inside the room. Do you think they're okay? The jailer and the physician! What happened?
The door defies any attempt at an answer, stealing...
I'm not sure, but it could be bad. Come on, let's go in and see if they're all right.
1 second. The door defies any attempts at an answer, sealing all the events from view. Right. The unlocked door leads to another room, more decrepit and oppressive than the last. A cold operating table lies in the center, surrounded by scattered bottles and medical instruments.
It seems we've stumbled upon the physician's office. I should have known. But is this an operating room?
Well, doesn't that make sense for a physician?
As if this prison wasn't bizarre enough already.
Inside the narrow operating room, the Jaguar reacts badly to the intrusion.
Didn't I tell you to wait outside? What do you think you're doing barging in like this?
We were just worried about your safety, jailer.
Enough. Get out of...
Quiet. The reptilian complex governs all our fundamental functions. Our heartbeat, breathing, fight or flight responses, and our territory and hierarchy awareness. Our primitive ancestors, like reptiles and birds, followed such instincts to survive.
We've got ourselves another vague poster.
Through millions of years of evolution, we developed the limbic system.
And the word limbic is glitching out again.
This processes emotions and forms memories. It allows us to feel fear, sadness, anger, joy. Our behaviors are given meaning. Now it's the neocortex that makes up more than 2/3 of our total brain volume. Language, perception, logical reasoning, abstract thought. This is what forms the complexity of human nature. We read, create, perceive. We try to understand both the world and ourselves. We are forever setting goals, one after another. And all this, these multitudes, happens within the confines of the skull, in the tight folds of the crowded cerebral cortex.
Where are you going with this, mate?
Is he performing surgery?
Well, someone is clearly lying on that bed.
Such a delicate and elaborate organ. Were it unable to forget, what would come of it? Can this space, no larger than the palm of my hand, truly accommodate dozens of people at once?
What do you mean by that? Are you... Is he referring to split personalities or what? At last, the physician sets down his operating scissors and needle, signaling the end of surgery. Yet at the same time, the old machine issues an alarm, signaling that his patient's vital signs are wavering.
What's happened to the patient? It looks like he's dying.
Her anxiety rises as the question goes unanswered. On the screen, the last waveforms disappear, leaving only a constant flat tone.
¿Fracasó la cirugía?
Did the surgery fail?
Nonsense. The surgery was a tremendous success.
And what was the surgery's purpose then?
I have erased his debilitating hysteria and restored order to the Panopticon.
I mean, that's a very Soviet solution to an illness. No person, no problem, as they said in the Soviet Russia back in the day.
What are you trying to achieve by barging in here?
The man behind the operating table stares at the uninvited guests expectantly, but does not give them a chance to respond.
Forget it. The next operation requires my attention. Jailer, show them out. Bring me the next patient in 15 minutes.
So he's basically just killing people?
I'm sorry, Miss Burton. I'm afraid you have to leave now.
Recoleta steps forward, blocking the path. There is a hint of pleading in her voice.
Please, just let us speak with you. It'll only take a moment. I have something very important I need to ask.
Her question is not given time to take shape.
Important. Nothing is of greater importance than my experiments in the Panopticon, outsiders.
Experiments, you say?
To ensure they continue, the stability of time and schedule is absolutely paramount.
Experiments in the Panopticon. So you really are the controller of the prison, then?
Controller? What an outdated notion. Superficial, really.
Then what do you call yourself, then?
The Panopticon has no need for such power, regardless of who occupies the central tower, or even if no one's there at all. Every inmate is both the observer and the observed, both wielders and subjects of power.
That's vague.
Achieving such a state requires no physical or violent measures. The structure of the Panopticon itself is the mechanism which sustains it. Komala is simply a manifestation of this model. Once I confirm its feasibility and adaptability, this model can be applied to any functional setting with only minor modifications.
And what do you intend on doing with that model of yours?
So far, it has proven to be far superior to any current system of governance in our world. Transcendental, even.
That sounds delusional, but sure.
Curse it. Why am I wasting time explaining this to you? Time is running out.
Time for what? The investigator keenly senses the key within his words.
Dr. Merlin, you keep mentioning time. What exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, what is your deadline?
Really? You need to ask? Even those oily-headed lunatics know it. The end of this era is imminent, is it not?
So he's aware of the storm, okay? Indeed, the word that was so close to being spoken.
You know about the storm?
That's what you call it, is it? A storm that washes everything away?
And what do you call it?
You employees of the St. Pavlov Foundation should know better than I. Soon, this era and everything in it will cease to exist. I must prove the feasibility of the Panopticon model before this place is turned to ruins, or something even more unrecognizable.
A storm that washes everything away? Burton, what on earth are you two talking about?
Right, Recoleta is not aware of the storm. The conversation extends beyond even the most imaginative creations of the aspiring writer.
No one can predict the era to which we will be reversed.
Or forward too, because we already seen that the forward motion in time is also possible via the storm.
I have seen the eras change time and time again. The transformation of this place, over and over.
Oh, so he's traversing through the storms as well.
But no matter which era each of these 9 storms, as you call them, has taken us back to, Cordeismo continues to plague this land.
New word spotted. Caudillismo. The hell is that? Oh, a form of military governments. Right.
Dependency theorists, martyred revolutionists. I've seen them all. You, young writer, are no different from those intellectuals who were swept away in the rain. There is no romance in this era. Only the repeated cycles of madness and brutality. An endless, meaningless struggle. Only in this forgotten corner can we momentarily escape the plundering of the marauders and the chaos they unleash. Although it won't be long before this place is looted by those oily-headed lunatics.
Alright, so this clearly indicates that he's not specifically aligned with Manus Vindictae, so to speak.
Just as it has countless times before, on this land as rich as silver.
He mutters to himself.
But there is still hope. Even in a wasteland, we may still be saved. As long as I uncover the path to transcendentality, I will find the ultimate answer. Ugh, I've already wasted far too much time on you. Leave, now.
The physician turns away, beginning preparations for the next surgery, organizing his worn-out instruments.
You heard him. Please don't press things any further.
And you, Miss Jailer, do not see at all that he's effectively cuckoo bananas, that he's pursuing something unrealistic and harmful.
All right, Senor, I get it. Obviously, you don't want to discuss my novel with me anymore, so I won't insist upon it. All the letters we wrote to one another, all those inspiring revisions and suggestions, I guess they meant nothing to you.
Right, but this physician persona sees themselves as separate to Aleph, from what we've heard. Her voice wavers, rejections, closed doors, harsh critiques. This proves more devastating than all of them together.
But there's still something I must tell you. Jailer, could you please allow us a private conversation with the No. With Aleph.
Hearing this, the physician stops.
Leave us, Jailer. I'll spare these outsiders 5 minutes.
The jaguar turns to leave, her face revealing an uncharacteristic sorrow as she lingers on the girls one last time. This time she offers no words. I cannot honestly tell whether or not Aleph is insane or not. I mean, he's insane in the way that many arcanists are, that is functional insane, I would call it. But is he completely lost in his head or not? Master of the Labyrinth. Only the steady beeping of a heart monitor keeps the eerie silence at bay.
Dr. Merlin, or should I say Aleph, I don't know why you're using my novel to manipulate the Panopticon. But you need to know that it won't serve your purpose, whether in fiction or reality. You claim that the inmates are both the observer and the observed, and both wielders and subjects of power. How could you be so blind as to not see the true state of the Panopticon? The inmates haven't achieved any perfect order. No, they've devolved into pitiful caricatures of themselves, performers in some endless pantomime to be watched from the central tower.
Well, to someone situated at the central tower who orchestrates it all, it seems like the perfect order, I bet.
Even their medication has become a prop to demonstrate the so-called randomness of fate in the theater that is the Panopticon. This farce hasn't made the Panopticon a better place. No, it has warped it into a twisted theater of cruelty, where the sick are denied treatment and left to quietly perish in the dark corners of its halls. And literature has died alongside them. This prison is a monster, born under the gaze of this all-seeing power. Aleph, is this truly the ultimate answer you've been searching for?
The physician suddenly seems startled, stepping back and accidentally knocking over his tools.
What? Are you suggesting that this is the answer I've reached?
Well, kind of. Are you not seeing any of it?
That my experiment has been a failure all along, and I've been too blind to see it?
Well, sorry to be a bearer of the bad news, but it seems like it.
No, impossible. Foucault's theory is flawless.
New term. Michael Foucault argued that power and knowledge are permanently tied together. Power is not held by a king or government, it flows through everyday social rules, language, and institutions like schools, hospitals, and prisons to shape how people act and think. Interesting. So it's a philosophical theory of sorts. Fair enough. Oh, hey there, Hellgate. Welcome to the stream. How was your day? Mine was awful. Yeah, I bet that working in a high temperature is a nightmare. I can kind of feel it where I live. It's not as bad as in other parts of Europe, but it's no picnic either. The only saving grace is that I have a fan blowing on my face at all times. Otherwise it will be a horror. As a Slav living in Eastern Europe, I'm not used to high temperatures of over 30. Let me tell you. Okay. About sending pics, be advised that my bots are kind of picky with what's allowed to be posted in chat. So if you want to post something, post it on the server. It will be safer because otherwise my bots might retaliate, unfortunately. It's a spam filter. Having his life's work denied is something he cannot tolerate. The man searches the tabletop with faint composure, but in doing so, he unintentionally sweeps all the surgical tools onto the floor.
I have removed every obstacle to the running of this prison. It is pure, sacrosanct.
Sounds like a delusion to me.
I have constantly re-evaluated the system, adjusting my instructions to my subordinates to ensure the most efficient maintenance of the established order. And now, you stand here and tell me that everything I've done has been meaningless from the very beginning?
Well, maybe not from very beginning. Maybe your intentions were noble in some sense, but the methods didn't work out.
That the power model I have implemented has already been replaced by an alternative? No, outsiders. The perfect order of the Panopticon shall not be disrupted. I will not be swayed by your lies.
Well, when was the last time that you went outside the Panopticon and took a walk to see for yourself how your jail works nowadays? Because I'm guessing it wasn't any time recently. Never mind, my phone camera colors blur my arm color difference. I'm pasty white in the biceps, and below it's like 10 shades darker. No worries, there's no need for illustrating that. I understand perfectly. I'm a pasty ass Slav usually, and I'm gaining color as well, despite staying most of the time indoors. So that's plausible to me. I believe you completely.
This facility is superior to all others. Nothing here escapes my notice.
At last, in a barely noticeable corner, he finds the 20-sided die wreathed in black mist.
That said, it isn't easy to work a miracle, as we all know. I shall personally verify it, all myself.
What the hell is he doing? Is he attacking us or what? All of these emotions dissolve the grip. All of his emotions dissolve as he grips the die. Huh. The narrow operating room shakes as if responding to him, emitting a distorted screech. The hell is he doing?
What's happening?
Good question, Vertin. I would like to know myself.
Visitors from another era. You have come here with plagued ideologies in an attempt to break the subtle balance of the Panopticon. But did you not notice the tiles beneath your feet? The cracks and water stains on the walls, constantly changing right before your eyes. This room, the previous room, every room, you have blindly wandered through them, seeing them as nothing more than the building blocks of a monotonous labyrinth. But this place was not born from the chaotic imaginings of a madman. No, every inch has been crafted through the meticulous harnessing of order and power. Every wisp of spider silk drifting in the wind, every speck of rust on the gallery rail. Every detail of the Panopticon has been built by my own hands. With this ever-shifting die, concepts may be transformed into reality, and ideals into substance.
It really looks like my 20-sided die that I've shown on Discord.
Every second. The moment you entered this realm, you too became subjects of my experiment.
Did we now? So this is a fight with him. Interesting. A physician. Question from Hellgate. By the way, how fast is your Perlite component production? You mean in Enfield? It's effectively the fully sustained production of a single gearing unit. So 10... one unit per 10 seconds. As fast as the one facility works. Yep, 6 per minute. And as far as I know, this is the fastest that it can be maintained without being in the red with materials. It cannot be made any faster without using more materials that you are producing at this point, as far as I can tell. It's the currently max capacity that the factory can maintain. And my spaghetti uses way less materials than you think? Really? As far as I can tell, there's no skipping the Shiranite usage in that, because all the facilities need Shiranite, and there's only so much Shiranite you can produce, including the gas vents that unlock in the zone. You don't need a lot of it? As far as I can tell, I need all of it. I'm using the entire production of my Shiranite. I use only one forge? How? How are you converting all the stuff then? Without using a Shiranite? Because it usually needs either liquid Shiranite or gas Shiranite to work. All the facilities do, as far as I can tell. At least if you want to make it stable. Gas Shiranite I get from natural sources. There's only like 3 vents as far as I can tell in the entire new zone. There's no other vents that I unlocked yet. Maybe there are new ones further down the line that I didn't unlock yet. Then maybe it will be easier then. But currently I have access to only 3 vents. There are 5. Huh. So I don't have access to them yet. I'll probably need to do some quests to unlock those. So you just have more resources from the gas vents than I do currently. I need to convert all my Shiranite into gases and liquids to make it work currently. Okay. Get into the fight.
Oh, I
We
got
can
it now.
talk some more about factory efficiency in Antfield tomorrow. I'll be streaming it
This
around
is all
6
getting out of
PM.
hand. Impossible! All is under the Dai's control.
And he's talking to himself. Goody.
What may appear to be chaos is nothing more than a temporary deviation.
That sounds like a cope. Yeah, by the way, one more question. Do you limit your gas liquids? To an extent. I don't exactly put any limiters physically, but I split the pipes so that it only provides enough liquids and gases to maintain the production, but not go beyond the level that is required to make the production stable, as far as I can tell. Because you only need to limit your buildings to 6 per minute. I think I'm limiting them effectively, but maybe I'm missing something. I kind of made it a little bit ramshack, I'll admit. So maybe there's some space to make some savings in materials. Use the pipe filter? I'll have to look into that down the line. I was thinking that maybe I could create one huge facility for production and storage of gases and create a sort of distribution system from it, distributing only as much as needed of gas and liquids to production facilities, but I didn't get to it yet. I think it should be possible, the way I understand the mechanics. Okay. Because 2 surgeon per second production can power 5 buildings. Really? I guess I'll have to adjust it a little bit. And maybe I'll save some surgeon in the process.
Activating overclock
Probably.
restrictions lifted. Magnetic field
Okay,
deployed.
the twins break his bolts, explode him.
Time for the curtain call.
This will probably eradicate him in one hit. Boom. Almost 1,000,000 damage.
It's special, precise, perfect. It is far from perfect. You know that as well as I.
So he does have a split personality, after all.
Why else would we be conducting this experiment?
The curtain has fallen.
A new music unlocked, seems.
This happened when the Idealist was attacked too.
To think we've been trapped in a prison fabricated by a die all this time. Did the physician really build all this with such a small, simple object?
Well, it's clearly an arcane artifact.
The distortion is getting worse. Prepare yourselves to fight or flee.
The situation begins to spiral out of control. Now everything in the room screeches and twists until they become a mess of meaningless black and white lines.
Please, Dr. Merlin, stop this!
No. You're asking for the impossible. Power model of the Panopticon is destined to permeate all of society. Such insignificant interferences could never plunge it into chaos. But it already has, Merlin. You failed.
Yep, he's just clearly talking to himself at this point.
I have not failed, as long as I keep the prison running.
Well, thanks Hellgate for the pointers. I'll probably make this more optimized down the line, as I rearrange my factory in the Enfield. I probably overcompensated with production of all the liquids and gases from what you told me, so that's plausible. It makes sense, I guess. Hi, I'm probably at the end of the stream again. Nope, this time you are in luck. We are barely halfway through, not even that. So there's still at least an hour left. So welcome back. The physician fiddles with the die, muttering, baffling and incoherent words to himself.
It isn't your power model running the prison. It's the die. It's simply a form of magic, unrelated to the microphysics of power you seek. It provides no aid in your experimentation with power. It's a false hope. A castle in the sky given to you by the military junta and Manus Vindictae.
So I'm guessing that the die was provided to him by Manus Vindictae. It looks like one of the dodgy artifacts.
Manus Vindictae? So you really are working with them. What exactly do you intend to do?
Then I've also failed. I've ended up a pathetic fool, lost in the chaos of reality. Just like the idealist chasing visceral realism, Paracelsus seeking the fountain of youth, and Zahir obsessing over the one-sided coin.
I'm guessing that the idealist was also a figment of his psyche in some form, his alter ego.
When did it all start falling apart, Aleph? When the doorknob loosened? When the prisoner's wounds started to fester? Or when the daily disinfectant concentration reached 28 milligrams? or the crack in the second gray brick on the wall, expanded to 6 millimeters.
He seems like a type to obsess over unimportant details.
Or was it when Warden Tartuffe left Ushuaia, with news of the Foucault Association's dissolution? This place should have been the ideal ground for psychoanalytic practice. Why did they halt all research, all discussion? We've been abandoned, haven't we? By eras old and new. He designed and have maintained everything in Kamala, right down to the smallest detail. But it is these details that trap you. And as the bars close around you, you are losing your name, Merlin. And you're becoming a physician, a man forever imprisoned within these walls. I don't understand. All these false eras are like a dreadful novel with no conclusion. Trying to find answers within such things is, in itself, a mistake. Much like them, you are destined never to attain transcendentality. Tell me, Olive, does the ultimate answer even exist?
The die becomes too heavy for him to hold any longer. It drops to the floor. The distortions and tremors of the prison finally subside, as if the pulse of a massive heart has stopped for an instant. Amid the swirling dust, the girls help each other stand, but fail to notice the truth revealing itself before them.
Timekeeper, are you alright? Yes, and you? And Miss Recoleta? Are you okay? Miss Recoleta?
The smoke clears, but no one responds. The named girl simply stares in shock at the figure before her.
You're...
What are you seeing?
The word utopia derives from Greek. It means no place. People cannot understand the structure of the labyrinth, yet they continue to follow its paths. They cannot comprehend the mechanics of fate, yet they believe in its jurisdiction. As if, by doing so, everything will naturally fall into place.
Okay.
And now, the polar night approaches.
So that's a new form that we haven't seen before. So this is his Aleph persona.
How good it is to see you, pen pal.
The mask in the mirror. Second, let me check if I didn't miss any tidbits. Yes, I did. Okay. On Xeno defectors, I wonder if the tower inside the prison has seen this. Read report. Based on the above information and recent intelligence from the Timekeeper's squad, it's confirmed that Xeno's defectors unit had entered Kamala prison, which held numerous arcanists and withdrew from Ushuaia on March 2nd. The operation clearly involved cooperation with Manus Vindictae. The current whereabouts of the defectors remains unclear, pending further intelligence from the Timekeeper squad. The information is fragmented and primarily inferential. For the full reasoning behind the operation and additional details, please refer to attachment 4 through 28. Okay. And what's the other bit? Prison uniform notes. Look at the smallest clues. The greatest of structures built brick by brick. Check records. During the 3rd Kamala Congress, Redacted's daily dose of The diazepam was reduced from 2 3/4 tablets to none, replaced with 2 classified poetry collections, and 60 chlorpromazine tablets, to be taken 1.5 per day. 2 days, 11 hours, 8 minutes and 4 seconds later, an 8mm crack appeared on the bow of his cell, which is on the 2nd floor near the 3rd staircase and is the 8th cell from the left. He scraped off a 4x3mm fragment from the 32nd tile. Mentions of the other me increased from 3 times in 48 hours to 25 times in 48 hours. 4 days and 3 hours, 7 minutes and 8 seconds later, he transitioned from merely collecting manuscripts paper to collecting manuscript paper and mirror fragments. Within the next 24 hours, he collected 11 mirrors, which totaled 103 shards. During the 6th Commonwealth Congress, reducted supply of fluoxetine and valproate was completely discontinued, replaced with 4 classified L6759 literalis selections and 4 rolls of 400 centimeter bandages. That's weird. One averaged 32 bangs against bars and walls per hour. The bandages were all used up within 4 days, 14 hours, 20 minutes and 9 seconds, with 89.3 centimeters lost in the water due to excessive ripping. Second, wrote 15 pages of poetry, over 10 days, 6 hours, 8 minutes and 3 seconds. Grabbed 14 of those pages and swallowed the remaining ones. So this is like a record of his experiments, effectively, with the inmates. And replace my earbud for a second. One moment. There we go. So we've got those tidbits figured out. Are there any left? Yes. One left. Flipping. When he pulls out the ice pick, don't be afraid. Panic is proof that you are still lucid. For now. Read the clipping. In 1935, Professor Antonio from Portugal became intrigued by a medical study documenting how gorillas became docile after the removal of the frontal lobes. Seems barbaric. Inspired by this, he successfully performed the world's first human frontal lobotomy, known as a leucotomy. The surgery was remarkably successful, paving the way for significant breakthroughs in research. In 1949, Professor Antonio was rewarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine for his work. Through continuous practice and refinement, he and others eventually improved and perfected the procedure, even though developing a specialized leucotomy. However, the surgical technique required a high level of expertise, and as a result, it was never widely adopted. And thank God for that, because lobotomy was basically a dead end, medically speaking. In 1945, American Dr. Walter Freeman modified the procedure, which became infamously known as the ice pick lobotomy. The technique involved rendering the patient unconscious with electroshock or anesthesia, and then hammering a steel pick, roughly the thickness of a chopstick, through the upper part of the eye socket into the brain. Jesus Christ. The pick was then manually rotated to destroy the frontal lobe. Holy hell. And this is not fiction, mind you. Experiments like this really happened. In 1950, the following strong recommendations from psychiatric pathologist Vasily Gayanovsky, the Soviet government became the first to announce a complete ban on frontal lobotomies. One thing that Soviets did right. Over the next 2 decades, most countries, including the United States, followed suit and passed laws prohibiting the procedure. Thankfully. Because it was basically a dead end and a barbarism. Just mutilating people. Okay, so part 14. The Mask in the Mirror.
Where did the physician go? Wait. Sir? Are you?
Well, it's his alter ego, I'm presuming, Aleph. No one notices when the unfamiliar prisoner appears. He seems calm and almost ordinary, like an unchanging mirror that has stood here all along, in this room, in this labyrinth, passed unseen by everyone. The answer she sees plainly makes her step back in panic. But in the end, she says the name out loud. Its sound is heavy, cold, and leaves her at a loss.
Aleph. It's you. My pen pal.
I wonder what made this clear to her.
You are, in fact, in Komala.
In a sense.
All those letters. All the ideas we shared. They weren't just my imagination or some prank. Vertin, Soneto, it's all just as I told you. They weren't meaningless. They're all real.
Yet why does she feel no joy?
So, sir, are you Aleph, the ruler of this prison? Are you the one controlling the Panopticon with the die? The one hiding Miss Dores's whereabouts?
What curious inquiries. Quite different from the last 2,666 questions I've received. My guests, you may call me Aleph, or by any other name, be it a symbol of God's oneness or a farcical epithet. I am merely one of the many prisoners who voluntarily reside here, a single letter in the alphabet of the Panopticon.
A letter? The way you speak is quite different from Dr. Merlin.
Well, yes.
Still, I wonder what your relationship is with him.
Under the dim lighting, the man looks drained of all energy.
But allow me to make a guess. You're Dr. Merlin, aren't you?
Well, the answer is probably yes and no. His alter ego, effectively.
I'm afraid that's not entirely accurate, but you may think of it that way. Merlin is a figment born of my mind, an incomplete reenactment. He is me, yes, but not entirely.
So which one was the original then?
He, or rather they, failed to find their answers. They fought against their predestined fates, only to be inevitably crushed under their weight. I simply stood by and watched it all unfold. That was the extent of our relationship.
They?
You've already met Merlin and the Idealist, even
Right.
witnessed their demise.
So I was correct that Idealist was also one of his alter egos.
Shackled by the delusions of verses, the Idealist lost his own name. Merlin, too, imprisoned himself within the system of the Panopticon. I'm sure their desperate pursuits caused you some trouble. Please forgive them. After all, your fleeting encounters led to the demise of them both.
I think I understand now. The idealist and the physician are both parts of you. Or, to put it another way, they're your alter egos.
It seems the jailer's diagnosis that the whole prison is mad has been shown to be more accurate than anyone could have imagined.
The physician mentioned Manus Vindictae. What's the relationship between this prison and the Manus?
Well, Manus is probably using the prison for some reason. I would guess that this whole experiment might be expediting the storm in some way.
Visitors from the Foundation. We all witnessed those eras perish. In 1977, not long before the fourth storm, I arrived in Ushuaia. Shortly after, some members of the National Foucault Studies Association reached out to me. But it wasn't just them. An arcanist organization called Manus Vindictae also approached me. Each of them wanted answers. They named me their advisor.
Huh, interesting. Using an inmate as an advisor. Oh, hi there, mate. Isn't today Sunday? Nope, it's Monday, my dude. You are lost in time. Unfortunately, it's Monday. Yep, I'm distraught as well. Especially after the night I had.
You acted as an advisor to the Manus?
The two parties presented me with a concept and a parable, respectively.
Everything's okay. A lot of things are not okay. Unfortunately, my cat died on me in the middle of the night, so today's stream almost didn't happen because I was convinced that I wouldn't be able to even stream today, but taking care of everything and taking a long nap brought me to a functional state. So here I am. What happened? Old age? Unfortunately not. It was a random happenstance, so to speak. One of my cats, the big Maine Coon that was visible in some of my streams, had heart conditions, so to speak. He had a very weak heart, and in the middle of the night, he got stung by an insect in the face, and he fell into an anaphylactic shock from it, and basically his heart gave out from the shock. So that was effectively my cat gone in 1 minute. It didn't take long. So there was no chance to even save him. That was just seconds. So I'm kind of fucked up today. I'm just streaming to think of something else today, to keep myself occupied. At this point. It's kind of working. Focusing on an engaging story makes me think of something else, so that's nice. Speaking of which, we figured out the whole mystery of this prison in chapter 9. Both Idealist, Aleph, and the physician were the same person with a split personality, so I was kind of right on the money from the very start.
A concept and a parable?
The Foucault Association sought to explore the feasibility of the panopticon concept here. While Manus Vindictae showed me a parable of the past and future.
So is that Soneto's Oni-chan? Luckily no. I hope not, at the very least.
Day and night, I wandered through endless texts, endless realities, as I searched for answers. And thus, Merlin was born. He was both an experiment and a price I paid. A new concept, a new direction. Pursuing such things always leaves me confined by the limitations of human knowledge.
While Manus Vindicte showed me a parable of the past and future, day and night I wandered through the endless text, endless realities, and I searched as I searched for answers. And thus Merlin was born. It was both an experiment and a price I paid. So his research effectively spawned an alter ego of a researcher. Gotcha. Good one. From Hellgate, it's holy, thank goodness it isn't snowing because I couldn't plow snow in this heat. Good one. 40 degrees Celsius? Jesus Christ, how horrifying. I have merely over 30 here, which is less than ideal to say the least for a pasty Slav, but it's manageable. Let me check what exactly do we have here. We have 31, so it's manageable with a fan blowing on my face. I can survive. But considering that during my youth, like 20 or so years ago, the top temperatures that we had here were like 28 at the most at the height of the summer. 51 is kind of crazy already. I'll trade my 35 for your 31 anytime? No, it's mine, you cannot have it. I'm not giving it away. I'll take what I can get. Luckily, down the line during the week it will slowly go down. So there's hope for me yet. Maybe I won't die from a heat stroke.
Merlin spent his entire life exploring Foucault's theories in pursuit of that singular yet infinite answer.
What about the Manus, Mr. Aleph? You didn't explain why you helped them.
I'm not entirely sure if he did even help them with anything.
Explain why. Because they asked me to, just as you have.
Okay.
I simply worked to answer their questions.
So answering anyone's questions who asks?
So you're saying that, to you, we are no different from Manus Vindicte?
Well, probably at this point.
And if we ask, you'll answer us, without holding anything back?
Is that not precisely what is happening this very moment?
Fair enough, my dude. Aleph picks up the fallen die. It flickers with a familiar, comforting glow.
This is what the Manus gave Merlin. A magical die named the Tear of Komala.
Huh. And the name glitches as well. Tear of Komala. Interesting.
It was once a gemstone that belonged to a god. At the beginning of the century, explorers plucked it from an ancient gate they discovered in Antarctica.
Alright, that's an interesting tidbit of lore.
To the explorers' amazement, the gemstone could turn human desires into reality.
That's vague but concerning.
So they cut it into a die, a symbol of fate, and used it to build a sanatorium, which was later transformed into the panopticon you are standing in right now.
A very weird use for an almost almighty artifact. His words are direct, yet they still leave the outsiders perplexed.
Then, Aleph, you really are the mastermind behind the Panopticon?
The silent girl grips her notebook, her knuckles turn white from pressure. The draft of an unpublished novel, with words that only she knows, the countless hours spent at her desk, the self-reflections, the meticulous questioning, revisions and scrutiny of every word. That book holds the life of its writer.
You said Merlin used the Panopticon to seek his answer. What does that have to do with my novel? I don't get it, Aleph. Why would you use my novel to manipulate this place? Roberta, Garcia, Octavia, Pablo, the jailer, everyone. Not one of them deserved to be trapped in a deadly loop in which everyone's fate is already predestined. They're just like the ghosts in Amalfitano, inescapably trapped within the ruins. Tell me, what is it you really want?
Hearing this, the lonely prisoner fidgets with the die, looking puzzled.
It's not about what I want. It's about what you want. The third line of your first letter. You said you wanted to give the rise and fall of sanity an ending.
Okay. So was that him giving her an ending to her novel? Like playing it out in reality to seeing how an ending would manifest? Part 15, Aleph. Before we jump into it, I'll take a short bathroom break, so be right back. 1 second. And I'm back. Okay. So continuing. Is this the last part or not yet? Guess we'll see in a second. This part is simply named Aleph. Also, let me grab myself a drink, so 1 second more.
Los registros históricos del Dado de Babilonia aún se pueden encontrar en la biblioteca de la Universidad Santa Teresa. No. Una apertura como esta haría la historia demasiado ambigua.
1 second. Alright, we can continue. Historical records of the Die of Babylon can still be found in the library of Santa Teresa University. No, an opening like this would make the story too ambiguous.
En 1975, en el pueblo de Amalfitano, Sonora, México, ocurrió algo terrible y escalofriante en la cabaña con el techo azul. Todo
Well, you
comenzó
made it
con las
even more
costumbres
vague.
peculiares de los Espera, ¿cómo supe todo esto? Necesito agregar un ro para el narrador. El cuentacuentos.
In 1975, the town of Amalfitano, Sonora, Mexico, something terrible and eerie took place. In the cottage with the blue roof. It all began with the peculiar customs of the local... Wait, how did I learn about all this? I need to add a role for the narrator, the storyteller. So what was the deal with the diary? Do you mean the one carried by Recoleta, or... Ah, right. Okay, first off, it was not a diary. It was a rough draft for her novel. And the deal for it was that this Aleph guy that she was writing to took very literally a question that she had for him in one of his letters. She asked what should be the ending to her novel. So he effectively decided to turn his pet prison into an experiment for various reasons, and one of those reasons was to run the course of that story from Recoleta and see how it ends. And that would be the ending. Basically, he ran a simulation of the story that he was given. So that's one way to write a book, I suppose.
Un poeta surrealista de México me contó esta historia. Una anciana entró en el bar, al que solía ir en el pueblo. Al mismo tiempo,
El empleado del banco también entró al bar, trayendo la noticia de que una corporación multinacional iba a construir una fábrica de jabón de galletas en Amalfitano.
espera, empleado del banco. No sabía que había bancos en Amalfitano.
So right now they are writing in tandem, it seems. A surrealist poet from Mexico told me this story. An old woman walked into the bar she frequented in town. At the same moment, the bank clerk entered the bar, too, bringing news that a multinational corporation was going to build a cookie soap factory in Amalfitano. Wait, bank clerk? I didn't know there were banks in Amalfitano. Oh, and regarding the god powers that you wanted, to an extent they were a thing. That the dice that the idealist carried and later Aleph used had some fucky powers, to say the least. It was basically an arcanist reality-altering artifact that took people's collective wants and wishes and were manifesting them into reality. So that's how Aleph was running this whole experiment. He was using these dice to more or less manifest the story into reality.
Pero sí, tiene sentido. Los bancos comerciales son, sin duda, un sello del capitalismo. Gracias, amigo por correspondencia.
And per usual, that die artifact was given to him by Manus Vindictae, because of course it was. Because if anything goes wrong and screws around with reality, it's probably Manus Vindicte's fault in some degree. But it does make sense. Commercial banks are no doubt a hallmark of capitalism. Thanks, pen pal.
Antes de convertirse en empleado del banco, era un defensor de las antiguas costumbres del pueblo. Era un pescador de dunas.
Después de aceptar el destino otorgado por el dado de Babilonia, eligió dejar todo atrás. El triste y aterrador pueblo y los ciclos ocultos dentro de la infinita aleatoriedad.
Oh, qué irónico. Pero también es realista. Ahora solo necesitamos un personaje contrastante. Un creyente en el destino.
Before he became a bank clerk, he was an advocate of the town's ancient customs. He was a dune piscator. After accepting the fate bestowed by the Die of Babylon, he chose to leave everything behind. The sad, horrifying village, and the cycles hidden within infinite randomness. Oh, how ironic, but it's still realistic too. Now we just need a contrasting character, a believer in fate.
Una anciana tejedora se sentó en su antiguo taller, girando incansablemente su rueca, un regalo precioso, otorgado por el dado de Babilonia.
La tejedora ciega relató suavemente todo lo que había vivido.
¡Qué idea brillante, Aleph! Una tejedora ciega no podría haber presenciado el asesinato.
An elderly weaver sat in her ancient workshop, tirelessly spinning her wheel, a precious gift bestowed to her by the Die of Babylon. The blind weaver softly recounted all she had experienced. What a brilliant idea, Aleph. A blind weaver couldn't possibly witness the murder.
¡Fantástico! En ese caso, agregaré a un conductor de burros que es asesinado en este capítulo. Con cada una de tus sugerencias, la historia da un paso adelante. Gracias, Aleph.
Well, that is useful.
Pero todavía no veo ninguna señal del final.
Right, they are falling into a trap of writing a never-ending fiction with no ending point. With just new happenings and new characters popping in. I've seen fanfics and stories like that. Eventually they grow stale, to say the least.
Es como si no importara cuántos personajes nuevos agreguemos. Todavía falta algo en el pueblo desértico. Le falta una figura clave.
Like no matter how many new characters we add, there's still something missing in the desert town. It lacks a key figure. So a protagonist then, effectively.
Aleph, ¿qué debo hacer? ¿Cómo le doy un final a esta historia?
From Weirdo. So what would you do if you had a magical book that makes things that you write on it become reality? I would burn it, because my imagination should never become reality. I know where my limits lie, and what should be part of reality and what shouldn't.
Tú misma me preguntaste, ¿cómo le doy un final a esta historia?
That sounds like a lot of repressed feelings. Yep, and they are repressed for a reason. I'm that protagonist that looks at a horror plot and says, no, I've seen this movie, and erases it from reality immediately. ending the movie in 5 minutes. You asked me yourself, how do I give this story an ending?
Me describiste como tus palabras se habían transformado en un rompecabezas desmesurado infinito, un lenguaje irreconocible, una colección de información ambigua y una parábola que había perdido todo su significado.
You described to me how your words had transformed into an immoderate infinite puzzle. An unrecognizable language, a collection of ambiguous information, and a parable that has lost all meaning.
La ausencia de un final aún te roe, atrapándote para siempre en ese abrasador pueblo desértico.
The absence of an ending still gnaws at you, forever trapping you in that scorching desert town.
Todo lo que estoy haciendo es intentar encontrarlo para ti.
All I'm doing is trying to find it for you. Right. Exactly what I described. From Normal Weirdo, so Donnie Darko? I actually never seen that movie. I'm aware of it, but I haven't watched it, ever. Maybe eventually I'll get to it.
¿Estás diciendo que has estado manipulando los acontecimientos en el panóptico desde que intercambiamos cartas por primera vez septiembre pasado?
Are you saying that you've been manipulating the happenings in the Panopticon like this ever since we first exchanged letters last September? Spoiler, the movie wraps up in less than 5 minutes. In a sense, it sounds a little bit like Steins Gate, where the whole anime goes for several seasons and then goes to square one, effectively erasing everything that happened in those seasons. So, at the end of the road, the protagonists realize that the only way to resolve problems is to never start them in the first place. She struggles, vainly hoping for him to deny it.
Sí, cada vez que revisabas la novela, se hacían ajustes correspondientes en el panóptico. Reflejar fielmente las complejidades de cada detalle era clave para asegurar que la historia avanzara sin problemas.
Yep, so he was effectively running the experiment in the Panopticon in real time as he was exchanging the letters with Recoleta. Yes, every time you revised the novel, corresponding adjustments were made in Panopticon, faithfully reflecting the intricacies of every detail. Every detail was key to ensuring the story proceeds smoothly.
Estos ajustes los manejaba principalmente Merlin, a veces el idealista, y antes de ellos, Zahir y Paracelso.
From Nova Widow, but Donnie Darko has a dark ending? Well, Steins Gate has also a very dark ending, to say the least, at least a very solemn one, because the whole plot revolves around the ability to send messages back in time to yourself. So you can imagine how much bullshittery it ends up with, and the final solution is to make it never happen. Never start in the first place. Such adjustments were handled by Merlin mostly, sometimes the idealist, and before them Zahir and Paracelsus.
¿Cada vez?
Every time?
6 versiones de la historia del Amalfitano ya se han desarrollado en el panóptico.
Oh! 6 versions of the Amalfitano story have played out in the Panopticon already. So he ran several simulations of it already?
Eso significa la rana aplastada en el barro, la vaca muriendo de vieja, el lirón cayendo al mar, el fantasma asesinado en el duelo y los cambios repentinos al dado de Babilonia.
Does that mean the frog crashed in the mud, the cow dying of old age, the domos falling into the sea, the ghost killed in a duel, and the sudden changes to the Day of Babylon?
Todas las revisiones que sugeriste, todas las muertes, el caos y la locura, ¿realmente sucedieron aquí mismo?
All the revisions you suggested, all the deaths, chaos and madness, they all actually happened right here. The ever-knowing prisoner falls into a long dark silence. He will not answer a question when the one asking already knows the answer.
Incluso la eternidad tiene sus límites, Recoleta.
Even eternity has its limits, Recoleta.
In the 6th revision, we added the Blind Weaver, an extraordinary figure. Just like the paracausality researcher who carries a suitcase that you introduced in your 7th letter.
The paracausality researcher carrying a suitcase. Miss Recoleta, is this character really based on the Timekeeper?
Presumably.
What? Of course not. The paracausality researcher is an entirely different character.
Is it though?
Don't you understand? We're only one die roll away from the ending.
Aleph lifts the core of the infinite labyrinth. The tear of Kamala swirls slowly in his hand.
I don't. What on earth are you trying to do?
What is he conjuring this time? The filament lamps of the operating room dim in time with his motions. The walls ripple like water, then transform into countless mirrors. Within the mirrors, an endless stream of information appears. A seemingly possessed telephone bubbles, an old radio sings, a flickering slide projector whirs and cracks, a muted field projector spins, a timetable opens, and dictionaries of countless languages flow past. A room without an exit, an eternal predicament, a prisoner's dwelling.
Recoleta, it is the cycle of fate that has brought you to the panopticon of Komala in Ushuaia. Now, return to the rise and fall of sanity. Return and become a character once more.
Huh?
You've been searching for its ending, but how could you possibly find it when you're no longer inside the story? I believe that this time you will witness the grand finale with your own 2 eyes. No more sadness, no more loneliness. The answer you've long sought lies in the inevitable final roll of the die.
So, the jailer is the bank clerk, and Erd is the blind weaver. But what about Roberta, Garcia, and Octavia? They weren't even assigned roles. They were just playthings, helpless in the face of fate. What right do you or I have to decide what happens to them? To dictate their gains and losses?
But they couldn't possibly understand such a thing, could they? To you, it's just a story. But to them, it is the manifestation of bittersweet destiny.
Do you think hiding behind the guise of fiction absolves you from the reality that you've turned the Panopticon into a living hell? Yes. You're the only one who truly understands the rise and fall of sanity. Goodness knows how many manuscripts I sent out that never received a reply. I was so grateful to you for your replies, for understanding my novel. Those things were more precious to me than any sunrise over the Andes.
Well, he understood your novel so well just because it was playing out in front of him in the Panopticon.
Had I known that your feedback was created in such a way, and at such a cost, I would have preferred not to receive it at all. Don't you get it? Even if they don't understand my novel, the people I meet are still my friends. Whether we took a long journey together, or we simply chatted for a few hours, we formed an inseparable, miraculous bond. They're a part of me. How could you treat them like fictional characters? It's disrespectful to my work and to life itself.
The writer's resistance is so sharp that it cuts through Alep's carefully constructed labyrinth easily.
But you raised the question yourself.
Well, not every question you ask needs an answer. Some of them are rhetorical.
Why do you resist receiving its answer?
He lowers his head, and for the first time, cracks appear on that indestructible mask.
They're always like this, aren't they? They throw a question at you, only to abandon it along with the fading of the era. This storm will spare no one. You've known it all along, Alice. Only the timeless Panopticon can maintain control. The all-seeing tower. The perfect governing system. What a hopeless fool you are, Merlin. Haven't you heard what they say? There is no need to build a labyrinth when the whole world already is one.
There are no glitches in the screen right now, by the way. All is perfectly normal. What glitches? Don't know what you are talking about. Forgot to say I didn't get Lino. Gonna single pull, but it pains me. When I was pulling for that vampire guy, I was reduced to single pulls that I managed to pull him like a day or 2 days before the banner ended with singles, so it's possible. And I'll be pulling for Lino tomorrow. I have like, what, 7-10 pulls, and I'm 6-10 pulls from PT. So I'm getting someone. Will it be her? We'll see.
Your meaningless questions will be swept away by the tides of time, only to resurface on the shores of our minds once more. We've seen it happen, over and over again. Surely you've realized by now that the only true meaning can be found in literature. For over a century, literature has remained the singular, ultimate answer. This lonely cowboy is simply feeling lost at the moment. Spare us your ramblings, idealist. You're wasting our time.
Enough.
The dye that reflects the heart can no longer bear its weight, as it glows from within with burning fissures. On the surrounding mirrors, countless reflections of Aleph appear, each wearing a different face. They crowd into the room as a flood of ghosts.
Aleph seems to be in a terrible state. We have to be careful. Something isn't right about that dye.
So, effectively, our dude is falling apart at the seams, it looks like. Aleph, the ghost of transcendentality. Jesus, that's a difficult word. Transcendentality, right. And we have to use Recoleta. Okay, sure, why not? But why level 1 Recoleta? Well, she is of inside 3, so why not? Let's give it a spin.
I have all the essentials for writing poetry. You, me, and our opponent.
Well, that's certainly something.
Go ahead. Keep the story going. Carry it through until we finally feel the sweet gratification of the ending. Your endeavors are doomed to fail. There's only madness in literature and art, not transcendentality.
It does look like an Evil Within boss, correct, or a Final Fantasy one. Either one of these. Blood of Fiction. Make the ally with the highest Moxie consume all the current Moxie to cast an ultimate, then recover the consumed Moxie. Interesting. So, we would do it like this.
An interesting one.
Copy that.
There we go. Let's see what happens.
Let me think on it.
Crackers and fireworks.
通幽动微，墨韵虚无。
Thunder to me.
En la acumulación de laberintos. Suéltalo
So
todo
she
una
casts
vez más.
her own ultimate. Gotcha.
天道必反。
That works, I
及时
guess.
好还。
He sounds mad. And he's gone.
These explorations, these fractures, they're all failures, aren't they? In this infinite expanse, I feel nothing but infinite sorrow.
喏，卡子领着。
The chaotic battle comes to an abrupt halt.
Wait, Mr. Olive, are you human?
Sonetta steps back, lowering her glass feeder. She's shocked to realize that her opponent has no arcane skills at all. From beginning to end, all he had was the die. Right, because I don't think that Aleph was an arcanist at all.
Please hand over the die peacefully.
It was just all the artifacts doing, it seems.
Mr. Aleph, please stop resisting. It's futile.
Futile. Yes, it's all futile. The cage of rules, the ideals of literature, both are futile. Mere illusions conjured along the path to transcendentality. They all fear that they're nothing more than phantoms in someone else's dream. That reality will devour everything, including their very existence. That's why they drift further away from transcendentality. They couldn't break free from that false dream. None of them could.
Aleph stumbles as he looks up at the storyteller.
Both the physician and the idealist walked toward their own destruction, just as I expected. But your novel still has hope, Recoleta. Its ending hasn't been written yet. We cannot deny that it may be the answer to achieving transcendentality.
You're not going to stop, are you?
Probably not.
Not until you get your answer. Sonetto, we have no choice but to seize the die from him by force.
Kick his ass, Sonetto. Break his knees. Sonetto's arcane energy gathers at the tip of her glass feeder. At this moment, the silent storyteller takes a step forward.
Enough. I said enough.
She shakes as she reveals the notebook that has never left her side. Okay. Oh, it has gotten a little bit dark. It seems like a storm is coming. Oh, I'll put on some lights. 1 second. So, is this the last part or not? Enough with your bragging, or I'll go to Poland to bring you here and make you stand in the middle of the street with no shadow. Well, honestly, Poland's weather currently is behaving like a tropical weather, or at least what you would expect from it. Waves of heat, then rain, then waves of heat, then rain. So it's constantly like sitting in a sauna. You know what we call it here? Tropical nights. Yeah, it's constantly like this lately. With temperature of 28 at night. Thankfully, it's not that hot at night in my parts. Hopefully it will never be like that. (1919) Guadalajara International Book Fair. People move between bookshelves and corridors, engaged in heated conversations. The air is filled with the mingling of multiple languages.
I'm afraid we can't publish your novel in its current state, Recoleta. We look forward to seeing more refined work from you in the future. Ah, Senor Cruz! What a pleasure to see you here. I'm an editor from the Naranja Dulce publishing house. Could you spare a moment to discuss the copyright for The Bluebird? We're huge fans of your children's literature.
The editor leaves, hurrying after another writer, leaving Recoleta standing alone in place. The 17th publisher to reject her today.
Hey, relax, Recoleta. Look at all the books around you. This place is heaven. You can't get down on yourself, not here. There's so many writers and publishers here. It's only natural you'd be turned down 17 times. This is just the beginning.
And she got turned down a lot more, I'm guessing. The young writer, attempting to forget her 17th rejection, flips through the event guide in her hands.
Now, which section should I visit next? Oh, this brochure might help.
Recoleta is the character I care the least in this game so far. Well, she's very self-absorbed with her writing shtick, and there's not much depth to her, I would say. We certainly had better characters to focus on in previous chapters, I would say. Maybe there will be something more in her dedicated backstory that we'll be doing somewhere down the line. Because there is one for Aleph and one for Recoleta. I'm expecting Aleph's backstory to be a wild ride, but don't know about Recoleta. I guess we'll see. She turns to the last page of the thick handbook, where all the invited authors and their contact details are listed.
Estupendo. An exchange of ideas between writers. Nothing could be more incredible than that. I recall James Joyce was inspired by a letter he received from Henrik Ibsen. So, maybe what I need is to find someone to share my manuscript with. But who?
And she found Aleph.
Tadeo Emasums. Aleph. Averroes.
Yep, and that's where it began. A knock at the door interrupts her daydream.
Oh, it's you, senor. Don't worry. I promise I'll catch up on the rent next month. Although I must say, this apartment's hardly worth the price. The cracks on the walls must date back to the last century.
Make all the excuses you want, Ingrid. If you don't pay the rent soon, you'll either end up in that crumbling colonial building on the corner or on the street, selling oranges at the San Telmo market. By the way, Julia told me you lost your job at the textile factory.
Well,
You under some kind of can't work in one place for more than 3 months, curse or something, senorita?
Oh, you don't even want to know about the terrible things that happened in that factory. All I did was lend the oppressed workers a hand.
Bah, you're just like those college kids, full of hot air. Anyway, I am not here about the rent. Didn't you tell me to watch out for your letters a while back, when you just returned from abroad? Well, here it is, a letter for you.
the girl freezes for a moment, then snatches the letter and slams the door shut, almost buzzing with excitement as she unfolds it.
Dios mío! Someone actually wrote back to me! This is incredible! Oh, thank you so much for bringing it to me, senor!
She slits open the long traveling letter.
Dear Miss Recoleta, it's from, let's see, Aleph.
Ah, flashbang, my eyes.
Hey, I've been watching you. You're not local, are you? What are you writing? Oh, hola. You're right. I just arrived in Buenos Aires 3 days ago. My trip's been a lot like a Copes tango performance, full of twists and turns, but nothing much worth telling, really. I'm actually writing a reply to my pen pal. Long story short, I sent him a manuscript of my novel, and to my surprise, he actually wrote back. Amazing, isn't it? In our recent letters, we've been discussing how my novel lacks a key character to drive the story toward a decisive ending. So we've been debating whether to introduce a new ghost to act as a turning point for the story. Oh, so then you're a writer? Hey, Pancho, come over here. I found an actual real-life writer.
Is that so unusual?
What's the big deal? I wrote plenty of poems in middle school.
And did anyone read them? I'm guessing not.
So you're a poet. I have a feeling we're about to embark on an incredible adventure together. Are you interested in joining the visceral realism movement?
Right, those two are the friends that she was traveling with at the start of the story.
This what? I've never heard of it, but it sounds like fun. Fabuloso! We have no time to waste. Once I finish this letter, you two must join me on a journey to Ushuaia.
Ushuaia? The end of the world? Why the heck would we go to that icebox?
Oh, don't be such a downer, Pancho. Just think of the fun we'll have, the breathtaking scenery we'll see, and the incredible stories we'll hear.
Fine, Maria. I'll deal with the cold if you really want to go so badly.
When a buddy that you picked up wants to go on an adventure and she drags you with her.
By the way, could you tell us about your novel? Of course. I'll tell you all about it on the way. Now where to begin? Alright, let's start with the cottage with the blue roof in Amalfitano. It's been 6 months since we first exchanged letters.
Only 6 months? I expected longer.
Since then, I've been traveling. First from Chile to Mexico, then from Mexico to Argentina. And I've never stopped writing. I'm not really sure what the purpose of my novel is. I just keep writing and writing. I can't stop.
Honestly, kind of like this chapter, to be honest. Where is it going, even?
What power does literature hold? What responsibilities? Perhaps only by continuing to write will I understand one day.
Recoleta flips through her notebook, every turn of the page containing a different colored letter. After the long journey, these pages of letters form a faded riddle, the handwriting long since blurred.
Aleph, you're right. I do want an ending to my novel. But not like this.
You really have no idea, do you, Recoleta?
Her only reader realizes she has still not grasped what is happening, forcing him to reveal the truth he has long concealed.
The rise and fall of sanity is your story.
Yes?
What do you mean?
You are a ghost, wandering this forsaken land, still striving to create a miracle.
Huh? Is he implying that she's a character in her own story, or what?
You are a wandering poet, born in Amalfitanu, the foolishly brave protagonist of the story, and the embodiment of the author herself. A reflection, yes. The author, no. You are simply a figment of her imagination, a manifestation of her dream to wander. Have you not realized it? The literary pursuits and romantic adventures you described, they are merely faded memories from 1975.
Huh. So what? She's an alter ego of someone else as well?
The poets who joined the visceral realism movement with you left Latin America long ago.
Faded memories.
As for the novel, it's yours now. A story you're writing. A story about yourself. Your departure has turned Amalfitano into a ghost town. The characters have lost their connection to you. They're gradually fading away. If the novel is destroyed, you too will cease to exist.
Really? Is that literal?
Wait.
Or...?
This is... Miss Recoleta? Is what he said true?
I know you never lie, pen pal. In your first letter, you told me that a character's role in fate must be determined from the outset and consistently adhered to throughout the story. Reading the perspective and insights of a walking encyclopedia, having such a person be willing to share their thoughts at all, was an exhilarating experience. I had never imagined my novel could develop in this way. Words could hardly describe how I felt in that moment. No one but you has ever understood the story of that town, let alone offered any revisions. Following your advice, I added the bank clerk, the dune piscator, the blind weaver, and the murdered donkey driver. Amalfitano was no longer an empty town with a single blue-roofed cottage. The new ghostly residents had begun to fill the skies over it. The story was finally reaching completion. I could feel that the ending was within reach. I became increasingly eager to meet my pen pal. I couldn't get the thought out of my mind. I wasn't sure what I would say to this Aleph. A simple thank you, perhaps, or maybe a discussion about the future of Amalfitano with its sole reader. Or maybe I'm no different from everyone else, led up the garden path by fate. But even if I am a ghost, as you say, an incarnation of someone else, a fictional being, so what? My resolve will not waver, even if my existence is bound to fade away. Because this isn't what literature is supposed to be.
You once told me there isn't an ounce of reality in fiction, only voids and glorified lies. Let me tell you this. Whether real or fictional, corporeal or intangible, I have accepted my existence. Now, let's put a stop to this, Aleph. The inmates aren't characters in my novel. They're people trapped in a prison, just as you are. By simulating my story here, you have made me into some kind of god, a guilty, false creator, a dictator of fate. I never wanted any of this.
Will she disappear as well? What are we even fighting at this point? The characters from the story, it seems, that she wrote.
Dental checker.
Okay.
La frecuencia perfecta. La admirable aleatoriedad del destino.
I see. The perfect frequency, the admirable randomness of fate.
Creo que lo he encontrado. La fuente del Dao de Babilonia.
I think I found it. The source of the die of Babylon.
Las deudas de los muertos. Esas facturas. Todas han sido hechas trizas.
The debts of the dead. Those bills. They've all been torn to shreds.
Ya no estoy atrapado.
I'm not trapped anymore.
Desde el día en que perdí la vista, nunca imaginé que la rueda giratoria volviera a girar.
Since the day I lost my sight, I never imagined the spinning wheel would turn again. Okay, so those were wailings from the characters of her book, seems.
Copy that.
There we go. Let's explode them.
通幽动微，墨韵虚无。
Thunder Talisman Scientific Version.
They are much larger
Oh, that was
than
quick.
the Foundation's kids.
We'll go through this, and this will be it for today. Chatted words and ghostly illusions roar forth, breaking free from the story's structure and the gaps between its lines, filled with regret and obsession. Old letters and book pages flutter in the air, like snow in a crystal globe on a winter night. Everything is quiet.
Huh? Miss Recoleta has vanished.
Okay, so she was a character in her own story, apparently.
Did she really cease to exist like Aleph said?
Recoleta.
Interesting. And there seems to be part 17 still left. So, we'll wrap this chapter up on Wednesday, it seems. And for today, this will be it for Reverse 1999. I'll be wrapping up, taking an extended break, because I have to take care of the real-life problems for now. And if I manage to come back at any workable hour for another stream, we will stream Cyberpunk 2077 today still, at least a little bit of it. Do know when exactly it will be, because I cannot vouch for how long I will be away from home. So hopefully we'll start somewhere around 6 to 7 p.m. GMT +1, probably, something like that. So for now, thank you for watching. If you missed anything from the stream, I recommend going to my YouTube channel, which is linked in the description on Twitch, and also available through the exclamation YouTube command in chat to get the link there directly. And the schedule for this week is posted on my Discord server, which is linked in the description both of Twitch channel and the YouTube channel. And you can use the exclamation YouTube command, exclamation Discord command, excuse me, to get the link directly. Thank you for watching, and see you around in probably something like an hour, maybe 2.